All right. So thanks for being here, everyone. I'm super excited that we have Julia here. She's the development director of RAINN. She can introduce herself. But I'm so excited all of you are here to learn more about RAINN and how we can support them. So I'll let you take it away from here.
Thanks, Alyssa. Hi, everyone. Thank you also for being here this evening, afternoon, wherever you might be in the world. Alyssa's going to be driving my presentation, so I may yell out a next slide here and there. My name is Julia George, and I'm the development director at RAINN. I'm based in Santa Barbara, California, but RAINN's headquarters is in Washington, D.C. So that's where most of my colleagues are. I guess a little bit of background about me. I am no stranger to Greek life. I'm a Gamma Phi Beta, and I just really, really love our RAINN's partnerships with Greek organizations. I think there's incredible work that members of the Greek community do, and I'm just super thrilled that Omega Phi Alpha is a part of that now. So we'll get started, and I'm just going to share a little bit about RAINN and how your members and volunteers and alums can get involved. And we'll also leave some time for questions if there are any. So let's go. And we did that, so great. So a little bit of a quick agenda that we'll go over tonight, just a little bit about RAINN, our hotlines. I feel like that's one of the biggest things that we talk about regarding RAINN's work. So the heartbeat of the organization, how we support survivors, a little bit about our public policy, some additional resources for you all, and then a little bit about how we're funded. Next slide. And we can go one more. So a little bit of context about RAINN's work, specifically with the college age community. If you see that little graphic on the right-hand side, college age women are at the most risk for sexual violence. So this is a super important topic for us to discuss and a conversation to always keep going. Every 68 seconds, another American is sexually assaulted, and then 1 in 6 women has been the victim of sexual violence. And it's not just something that affects women. 1 in 33 men have been the victim of sexual violence. And then also 23% of TGQN college students have been sexually assaulted. And 13% of all students experience sexual assault on campus. And then more than half of those assaults are occurring in August, September, October, and November. And that's really because the beginning of the school year kicks off. And especially now in kind of COVID times, a lot of students have come back to a campus for the first time ever. And our data here was a little bit interesting, and we're still kind of looking at that year over year, but we'll always kind of see this increased risk and trend in the months of the school year. And then, as I mentioned, college age students are at that increased risk. Next slide. So about RAINN, RAINN stands for Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. And we were founded in 1994, and that means over 27 years that we have been in existence. We're the nation's largest anti-sexual violence organization, and we carry out programs to help survivors prevent sexual violence, ensure that perpetrators are brought to justice, and then help organizations improve their policies. And we created and operate the National Sexual Assault Hotline, and that's by phone, and then also online with our online chat system, and that online system is also available in Spanish. Next slide. So our services, our National Sexual Assault Hotline, 24/7 confidential call and chat hotline for anyone affected by sexual violence. That can be the individual or their loved ones. So we do get a number of calls and chats from folks who want to know how they can help someone who's been impacted by sexual violence. We, as an organization, partner with, that number is actually outdated. It's now over 1,200 local sexual assault service providers. So these are resources in local communities that offer either a localized hotline or localized services. So we also have one-on-one online chat for anyone affected by sexual violence. We run the DoD Safe Helpline for the Department of Defense. That's a separate hotline, and that's reserved for anyone who's a part of the military community, and they can access either a phone or an online chat as well. And then we work pretty heavily in creating technology platforms for victim service organizations. We run hotlines for other organizations in addition to the main National Sexual Assault Hotline. So we're a little bit busy. Next slide. So by the numbers, and these numbers are always going up, and I feel like every time I create a really beautiful presentation, my graphics get outdated. So RAINN provides support for more than 300,000 survivors of sexual violence and their loved ones every year. And we educate more than 130 million Americans about sexual assault. And since 1994, this number is now 3.6 million people that we've helped since that time. Next slide. Okay, so our hotlines. Next slide. So like I said before, we kind of break it down between phone and online. So I'll talk a little bit about our phone hotline. So when you call 800-656-HOPE, you will be routed to one of our local RAINN affiliate organizations. And those are those organizations I talked about, those 1,200 different organizations across the country. And you're routed based on the first 6 digits of your phone number. And cell phone callers, they have the option to enter their zip code if they want even more of an individualized approach. We all live in different parts of the country and our cell phones might be connected to certain places. So this just allows someone to get support in their community. So to be a part of the National Sexual Assault Hotlines, our affiliates must agree to uphold our confidentiality standards. And that means never releasing records or information about anyone who calls without the consent of the caller, except when obligated by law. Only making reports to police or other agencies when the caller consents, again, under unless obligated by law, and then agreeing to RAINN's non-discrimination policy. So those are the ways that our affiliates can be included in our online or our phone hotline network. Next slide. That's just a picture of what it looked like when we were in person in the RAINN office. We have a beautiful, huge call center where a lot of our staff and volunteers sit. Hopefully in the new year, we will be back in that space. Next slide. So our online hotline. The online hotline works just like an instant messaging or online chat system, but with enhanced security measures. So when you visit the RAINN hotline online, you'll enter a private chat with a trained RAINN support specialist and chat live by typing messages back and forth. Like the phone hotline, the same online service is completely anonymous and confidential, and you will never be asked for any information that would identify you or who you are. And you can feel free to share as much or as little information as you'd like. And online chats are answered by live RAINN support specialists. And this is another great, thanks. I wanted to make sure I covered everything. Yes, and our online hotline was the first online hotline. So there have since been many other great online resources for folks, but our online hotline was the original, which is really great. Okay, and that next picture was again another shot of our RAINN office in DC. Next slide. Okay, so both our hotlines, when you contact National Sexual Assault Hotline, it gives you access to a free range of lots of great services, including, like I said, the support from a trained staff member, support finding any type of local health facility that you might need to access. And that can offer services like sexual assault forensic exams. You can also talk with someone about what happened and local resources that can assist you with your next steps toward healing and recovery, referrals to long-term support in your area, information about the laws in your community and in your state, and then basic information about any medical concerns you might have. So for all the things that you can get help with by contacting the National Sexual Assault Hotline. Next slide. Okay, so this is, a really important and thing that RAINN is very proud of. It's just our safety and anonymity. So there are 4 key steps we've taken to ensure that people that visit our hotline have full confidence that we're keeping their information safe. We never log anyone's IP address. We do not save chat transcripts. All of our data is encrypted. And then every time someone hits send, the words are encrypted using the TLS protocol. This way text cannot be intercepted and read in transit. And all the users are anonymous. Our online hotline relies on an anonymous routing method that hides the connection between users and the RAINN support specialists via the use of unique codes, and makes all of the communication on the online hotline anonymous. And something I even learned today when I was talking with one of our support specialists is they actually all choose their own unique names. So they don't even use their real names. And it's just another layer of security that that's offered. So next slide. So our hotline activity, you can see this graph shows a little bit kind of the ebbs and flows of the day and when calls come in more heavily. As you might imagine, a lot of our call volume is going to start peaking in the morning and stays pretty steady and kind of tapers off into the evening. But that's just not a typical day. There are so many different things that can impact spikes on our hotlines. And that can be anything from like a major news story that breaks or even a television show that comes on. I know recently the bachelorette candidate, I'm never going to remember that. I got to start watching The Bachelorette again. She disclosed about her experience with sexual violence, and that then impacted our hotline. Same thing happened when Aly Raisman recently had a show on Lifetime. We had a lot of people tune in to watch that, and then in turn, our hotline numbers spiked. So it's always great when the RAINN team can staff up for these types of things because we can help more people that are reaching out. But there are occurrences that obviously happen that we are not prepared for. So the average chat, if someone logs in, is about 30 minutes. But that there's no time limit, and it's all survivor led. So someone's going to chat as long as they need, and we'll be there for them. Next slide. So like I mentioned before, not only individuals who are survivors of sexual violence reach out, we have lots of folks who are loved ones and want to know how they can support someone. So we have this great acronym that I love to share. It's called our TALK acronym, and it's really a quick and easy way to remember how to support someone. So thank them for telling you. This is if someone discloses to you or wants to talk to you about something that happened to them. You want to ask how you can help them, and you want to listen without judgment, and you just want to keep supporting them. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. And if you want some more information, we have a really great friends and family toolkit to download on our website. Next slide. So volunteering. This is a great question that we always get, how can I get involved? How can I help? Lots of different ways. We are actually currently not taking new volunteers on the National Sexual Assault Hotline. We're ramping up a brand new training system, and we've taken a little bit of a pause on recruiting new volunteers. It's a lengthy training process when you do become part of our volunteer team, but that's not to have anyone shy away from it. It's an incredible experience, and our volunteers are providing such an incredible service. But what I will say is, in the meantime, and while we're taking this pause from recruiting new volunteers, is so many of our national affiliate partners are looking for volunteers, maybe in their offices. So there's a great search feature on our website where you can search for volunteer opportunities in your area. So I encourage you to check that out and see what organizations might be nearby, and they could be looking for volunteer support. Next slide. Okay, another great way to get involved is with our policy work. So in addition to a lot of our public education and our fundraising, we have a whole team at RAINN dedicated to policy work. And that team works closely with lawmakers and influencers to ensure survivors have access to critical services after sexual assault and to improve the way that our country prosecutes perpetrators. And then from the legal definition of rape to the statute of limitation for a particular crime, where you live makes a big difference. So I would encourage everyone to visit our website to check the laws in your state and kind of educate yourself about what your state has as their current laws. And if you want to hop onto Twitter and follow our RAINN policy team, they're always posting really great information and lots of calls to action too, opportunities to write to your representatives and advocate for laws that put survivors first. Next slide, please. So yeah, lots of additional resources, and I always refer folks back to our website, but these are some just quick links that I wanted to share that are great ways to learn more about RAINN and to get more involved. Just simply joining our mailing list, pretty straightforward. We have lots of great free and digital print materials that are on our website that you can download anytime. We've got lots of great books and partner products on our website. These are books that have either been written by someone in the RAINN community, whether they be staff or board members or volunteers, but then also books that speak to our mission and our subject matter. So I encourage you to check those out. Lots of partner products as well, companies that are giving back to RAINN through different types of things that they're selling. And then we have a whole section of our website that's dedicated to safety for students. And this speaks to bystander intervention, consent, and alcohol, some things that are more hot topics on college campuses. And then we also have a really great app that you can download in the App Store. And this not necessarily is a way to access our hotline, but it's got great self-care tools and just kind of information to help manage any short or long-term effects of sexual violence. So it's a really great app, and I encourage everyone to check it out. Next slide. So fundraising, a big thank you to you all for fundraising for RAINN as a part of National Service Week. We really cannot do what we do without philanthropic support. So I just wanted to share some of the different ways that people give back. You all are doing one of them right now, are doing kind of peer-to-peer fundraising for us, and it's so appreciated. But these are some other ways to make gifts. You can donate online, you can honor someone with a gift, you can shop for RAINN. We've got all sorts of great ways to give back. But again, we so appreciate fundraising efforts, because we can continue to keep our hotlines free, anonymous, and 24/7 because of that support. Next slide. I don't know if did it go forward for you? I don't see it. There it is. Well, and contact information is important. So there's the RAINN website and email for our team. But if you need to get in touch with me, I can always be reached at juliag@rainn.org. So happy to answer any questions via email after the presentation, or if you're watching this later. And then we are on all sorts of social media. So I would encourage everyone to follow us and get in touch if you need any support or information or have questions. Next slide. Yeah, and I also, obviously want to end with our hotline and information for anyone who needs it. This information is always available on our website. And I really appreciate you all giving me some of your time, and want to make sure there's any opportunities for questions or comments. Really, thank you all again. RAINN appreciates your support, and we're so thrilled to be partnering with Omega Phi Alpha.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that information. If anyone has questions, now is a good time to ask. If you want to put them in the chat, that's great too. I have a few questions while we're waiting on other people. There are a few things that I thought of. One was in terms of state laws and in terms of like statute of limitation and things like that, is it the state you live in or the state of the assault or incident?
That is a great question. I'm going to have to check on that for you. I feel like the state with that you are in if assault occurs, I think would be the correct answer, but I want to confirm. So excellent question.
There is a question in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
What are the kinds of things you're working on to, revamp the training program for volunteers? It's a great question.
Yes. Yeah. So making it more accessible. We're making it more robust to include a lot of different, there's a lot of overlap with other areas. So domestic violence and suicide. So we're really ramping up our training with regard to looking for those types of signs in our different chats and in our phone conversations, making sure that our support specialists are really, really trained in more areas than just sexual violence. There's a lot of overlap again in different areas. And also trying to make the training program just more inclusive. So we had before COVID in-person training. And if COVID taught it, if COVID did anything helpful, it's really, we moved so much online and we're now able to reach more people and train more volunteers more broadly. So we really feel like it's a big opportunity to add more volunteers to our community. And we also did get a major grant recently that helps kind of expand the technology piece as well.
That's awesome. On the same topic of, I know we talked about this in the What's the Buzz episode that we recorded, I think it was in October, but what is, I don't know if you have the answer to this with the program being revamped, but like, what is the time commitment to being trained to become a volunteer for the hotline?
So it's self-paced. And I think people can complete it as quickly or as their schedule allows. So I would say that it's a couple of months from start to finish with regard to some self-paced training, doing actually being shadowed by one of our staff members. And there's a few different layers that go on with that. So it can really be a relatively quick turnaround if someone can commit the time. But if you have limited time, that's okay. But that process might take a little bit longer.
Excellent. There's a couple other questions. Yeah. So we have one about what are some of the biggest misconceptions people have about sexual violence that we can help to educate others on when we're bringing awareness?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there are a lot that this only impacts women. We have so many men who reach out for support. We're talking with, we have different roundtables from time to time with our support specialists, and it's helpful as a staff person who's not on the hotline to kind of hear some of the real-time things that are happening. We have a lot of people who blame themselves for what happened and think it's their fault. So I think that those are just kind of misconceptions that they might have, and they should know that it's never their fault. This is not your fault. I could go on and on, but I feel like those are some really big high level misconceptions. And what can you all do to kind of help educate others? Just keep talking about this topic and making it far less kind of taboo than it was kind of before that Me Too moment. I think we just need to keep having this conversation and normalizing it and bringing your friends into the conversation. We do have partnerships with other Greek organizations, and I'm always really glad that our fraternity partners are standing with us in this, because our peers need to also be educated. This is not just something that women need to be standing up for. So hopefully that kind of answers it. Those are just some big misconceptions.
I have another question about specific opportunities that a chapter could do to get involved. So I think this is a great opportunity for you to talk a little bit more about affiliate organizations and fundraising too. Any ways that like specific chapters can help? Because I know some chapters asked about the hotline, which we've covered. You know, there is a training, and right now you're not recruiting people to help with that. But any other like specific opportunities for a local chapter?
Yeah, and I would even add one more layer onto that would be our speakers bureau. So let me lead with that, and then I'll kind of come back to the other two. So RAINN has a speakers bureau, and it's made up of survivors of sexual violence. They live, I think we are up to almost I feel like we're closing on like 4,200 members of our speakers bureau. These are survivors who are comfortable sharing their story and do all sorts of great speaking engagements on behalf of RAINN, but also independently. So we have a lot of organizations, groups that reach out and ask for a survivor to maybe come speak to their group for an event, for a fundraiser. And this is definitely something that is available. I would love for your chapters to request a survivor. There's a form on our website that you can fill out. They can come to your chapter meeting. They can do it over Zoom, which is super great. And it's really, I think, special and important to hear from someone who had an experience like this. And oh my gosh, thank you for putting that in the chat. I think it's a really great way to learn more about an individual, their experience, and then how they've been working with RAINN as a part of the Speakers Bureau. So that's a great way to get more involved. I feel like we said, yes, our hotline is not currently recruiting, but local affiliates are potentially looking for volunteers locally. So if anyone needs to hop on our website to check opportunities, please do. And if you can't find anything, reach out to me and I might be able to do some additional digging based on where you're located. I can't say that there's going to be opportunities everywhere, but there are definitely organizations. And even if maybe they're not a part of our affiliate network, I can do some looking around and see if there's an organization that I know of that can benefit from support. And then
Also,
fundraising.
Yeah,
that was the last piece. Yeah.
I wanted to talk about the Speakers Bureau, just in case, like I know a lot of people have never done anything like that, but this was recommended to me, and we hosted a speaker for Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month earlier this year. And it's really great because you can put some details in about what you're looking for, and you may get a ton of people who respond. And some of them might not be like the best fit for what you're looking for, but if you have an idea of what you're looking for, you can find someone. So like we had someone who was a college student who was sexually assaulted on her campus and shared about the resources that she learned about through RAINN, and how she the perpetrator was convicted, and like the whole process for doing that, which was, I think, just super impactful to hear from someone who's still in college, and that she did all of this. So I just wanted to reiterate that that's a great resource.
Yeah, definitely. It's really great. You can put those additional details in there if you're trying to kind of hone in on some specific topics that you want to discuss. So for sure. That's a great question about this. So I think probably folks saw the TikTok symbol that was used recently. Are there others, and how? So RAINN partnered early on with an organization that helped start to promote this hand signal. But it's actually Canadian based, which is, I don't know if it seems like now that it's gone viral through TikTok, it will be more widely used, which is fantastic. Sometimes it takes something like that to really make some headway. So, is the question, Alicia, more about how, are there other hand signals, or how can you help get the word out? I just want to learn a little bit more so I can answer your question well.
Hand signals, and how can we get the word to everybody?
Yeah, so I would say as much resharing on social media as possible is incredibly valuable, and I would encourage everyone to reshare RAINN's content as you see fit. Your network's going to reach someone, and your friend's network's going to reach someone, and that's really how we make some meaningful change when more people can get access to resources like this, because it obviously worked for someone and saved someone's life. Other questions? These have been such great questions, and I promise to get back and circle back with you on any of the ones that I didn't quite know the answer to.
I just wanted to chime in. I know Victoria asked the question about, is there someone that's willing to host a workshop about sexual violence? And I know you said the Speakers Bureau, but also you guys do have a training department, right? Where organizations or employers or whatever can pay someone to put on a workshop, right?
Absolutely. Yes. Sorry, Victoria, I kind of glazed over that part of your question. Yes. So we do have a whole team at RAINN, our consulting services team, that they do paid opportunities to create workshops for different organizations, companies. We work with a lot of some of our more public clients would be someone like Lyft. We've worked with Lyft and Uber, but we have obviously clients that run private. So I can definitely connect you with our consulting services team for some more information there. But I guess more kind of, if you want to talk more about what a workshop might look like, we can always maybe try to create some content that kind of speaks more towards your question. I think, tonight was more general, as much of an overview of RAINN as I could give, but there's so much more to talk about. So if there's something that you want to learn more about, would be happy to kind of see if we could figure out a way to deliver that.
Awesome. Any other questions? I know we're coming up on time, but any last questions? Well, thank you so much. It's so exciting to kick off National Service Week with this national partnership with RAINN. And we have a lot of team members on our fundraising page, and we've raised, I think, like $250 so far for RAINN, which is very exciting. So those of you who are on here, you can also join the fundraiser, raise funds. Our awesome communications director, Casey, who's on the call, put together some like templates on Instagram that's saved to a highlight to encourage you all to raise funds for RAINN. So yeah, we hope we can raise at least $500 throughout the week. And those of you who are on here as members of an active chapter, we would love to hear more about what you all are doing this week, potentially with RAINN affiliate organizations, or how you all are raising funds. So please share your stories with us so we can share them widely through the organization. I think that's it. Julia, thank you so much for your time and for really nurturing this partnership and getting us off the ground. It's really, really exciting.
Wonderful. Thank you all again. This has been really nice to spend a little bit of time with you, and please do reach out if I can be helpful, and visit RAINN's website at rainn.org if you need more info. Thanks again.
Thank you.